Happy belated New Year, Lily. Saw you on Timcast last night. Well done. I'm going to move topics. I'm going to talk about Lily. I holler at me if you saw. There's a lot of Timcast fans on my channel here because I'm a Timcast fan. But he's great. I mean, he's big, so it's anyone's going to see that, and in any of these kind of circles. And Lily was on there, and what I learned new about it was I didn't know she was running for Congress. She had just announced it, I think, January 25th on her Twitter. That was when I found out. I was like, yeah, let's go. She's run before. It's not easy to run. I want to celebrate a citizen or I want to celebrate anyone who is willing to get up and run for political office at any level. I'm talking about people. I'm obviously talking about people who are in my mindset, but really anybody. I respect if anybody wants to jump into that, but in particular, people who are good people. Right now, she's running for Congress. She came from China, became a citizen. You have to be a citizen to run for Congress. And her story is amazing. This is her on the website here. Lily Tang Williams, fighting for liberty. Lily is an American entrepreneur and educator who is fighting to prevent the country she loves from becoming the country she left. You'll hear her on the clip say that through Timcast. I love that line. Bars. That's like it didn't rhyme, but it's like bars. Prevent the country she loves from becoming the country she left. And it stays in your mind. I like that. Let's play an introductory video. No different that we did with Freddie McHale running in California. Let's play that intro, and hers is even more powerful because she's got a great story.
I'm Lily Tang Williams. I was born in China to illiterate working-class parents, suffered under Mao's Cultural Revolution and the communist dictatorship. I wanted freedom. America was my promised land. I was 23 when I fled tyranny. Arriving with $100 in my pocket and knowing very little English, I worked hard to make my American dream come true. Today, I'm happily married with 3 children, have my own businesses, and live in the grand estate where the spirit of liberty resides. My concern is that my children and grandchildren will not have the opportunities I had. I see the shadow of authoritarianism cast by politicians who have locked us down, closed small businesses, inflated our money, and mortgaged our children's future. I saw it all before in China. The division of society, silencing dissident voices, and taking away parental rights, the indoctrination of youth, endless government mandates and control. People are losing their rights to make a living and to make their own life choices. Are you worried yet? I am. I fear that the country I love is becoming like the country I left. That is why I'm running for Congress. It is time for the majority to speak up, defend our country from the radical left, and keep the American dream alive for our children. My name is Lily Tang Williams. I'm an American citizen by choice, running for Congress in New Hampshire's 2nd Congressional District. And please, donate, volunteer, and vote for me. I will be honored to serve people of New Hampshire.
There's the video, there's the introduction. And this is a little bit different because I didn't endorse, like my endorsement doesn't mean anything, but I'm just saying I didn't say I support fully Freddie McHale. I didn't know much about him. Go on a long form podcast, bro. That's how we get to know you. Lily, I heard her from the first time or the last time. I don't know how many times she's been on there. She was on with Tim Pool, and that's how I heard about her. And I fully endorse her. And I'm going to talk about why it's not hard. It's not complicated to decide why. What we need in Congress, I actually clipped this from we were chatting about this yesterday. What we need in Congress right now isn't complicated. It's just we need people who love this country, who are not afraid to say, I love America. Why does that trigger people? Why, like, what person on the left are you hearing say that? Maybe sometimes, but do you even believe it when they say it? We need people who love this country, people who believe that their job in Congress is, or any public job, is as a public servant and value liberty. That's all we need right now. At least that's all I need right now. Not complicated, not hard. If you don't have those three things, I don't want to be, I don't have time for you. I don't want to be with you. I don't want to vote for you. You won't have my support. I won't even really be talking about you other than to clown you. Those should be three simple things. Here's some tweets from her to get to know her if you know her. How did the U.S. fall behind UK and other countries? End the mandates now. Let the doctors be doctors. Let the kids be kids. Focus on the high-risk seniors and early treatment. Stop censorship of different opinions. Trust people to make decisions for themselves. Let's free our kids. Luckily, in the area that I'm in, my kids won't have to wear masks. If you might have seen videos I did last year, I told my wife too, because dealing with other people, this little side note, how do you deal with this government overreach? You're going to have to move if you have the resources, talk about it. I told my wife, if these kids are masked into the springtime, and they could bring it back. So we're not out of the woods. We have to talk about moving. I'm not having this. This is not going to work. So I planted that seed months ago so she knew it was upcoming. I wasn't just like, we got to go. Luckily, we're seeing that change in some parts of the country. We got to keep fighting the battle. Look at this good news. She was on with Tim Pool, Timcast IRL last night. This morning, 360,000 views. Shout out to Tim, Lids, Ian, the whole crew. I mean, I know Luke's not with them, but he's there in spirit. Everybody involved to platform somebody like Lily Tang Williams. That's not a small thing. That's why they're trying to swat Tim Pool. Who knows? I don't have the exact information, but no surprise why people are trying to go after Tim Pool, go after Joe Rogan. Look who he's platforming, and his door is open. He's letting other people come on. They just don't want to come on. Raised over $10,000 for her campaign. People signed up as volunteers. She's feeling encouraged. That gives you energy. So it's not just about running and winning. It's about creating momentum and getting energy and going out and speak. Andrew Yang changed me, and he didn't win anything, didn't come close. I'm still a supporter, even though I agree he's not strong enough as a presence to be president, but he's strong enough to give smart ideas and let other people run with them. And that's the title of the episode there. She retweeted this. Since when did a difference of opinion become misinformation? I'm just giving you just a little bit of taste of who she is. Let me share this clip from the show. Some people might have seen this already. Let's do this here. The clip with her. I have two clips, and this is the first one with her on with Tim Pool and Jack Posobiec.
A country like you look at these videos out of Australia or the UK, the cops kick the door and they walk in, they do whatever they want. Well, in the United States, not so much. Still, yes, they do, but not so much.
Well, that's why if you look at my past, 2013, I published open ad by National Review Online to say like guns against tyranny. And I talk about Tiananmen Square. I talk about Chinese people feel powerless to defend themselves, their families, and anybody can kick your door open. And I was told when I live a very poor, illiterate working parents neighborhood, say, hey, if criminals come, go grab our choppers in the kitchen. Like when you do bones and chickens, you know, you use those. Chopsticks don't do any sense, so you have to just grab the knives, you know. So when I come to this country, when I first time got passionately involved in politics, because 2013, the Democrats in Colorado wanted to limit the AR-15 magazines. So I testified. First time I did not know how to testify in this long line. I had to go in with somebody. My smart rat, like my husband called me straight rat. I survived China. So I said, I'm not going to get in there testify. The line is so long, it'll be midnight. But I saw somebody is expert witness, like a president of Rocky Mountain Gunowner Association say, hey, can I go in with you? Because I survived China. I want to give my 2 cents. He said, okay, come with me. So I went in with him. First time I testified in my life, in my new country, to say what you're doing is the communist way. We need to have a second mind. The right to defend ourselves is our God-given right. Are you becoming like a communist? Well, nobody said anything, but they passed the bill along the party night. I become political activist after that.
It's a great story of how she was. That's her version of talking about why she's pro 2A, basically. The perspective, my parents are immigrants from Jamaica, and diversity of thought and background is not about skin color. It's about your story, where you're born, your parents, where they come from. To get the perspective of someone who lived in China to come here, you don't have to listen to me, I've never been to China, to talk about how the U.S. is. There's some similarities there. Don't listen to me, listen to her. There's a perspective that I think people who are first generation, there's a different perspective than those who are not. She's speaking here on Saturday via Zoom, and she does a lot of speaking. I'm going to do another clip from the Timcast. This was I thought it was a really good moment here. We're talking about Viva Free and how he's doing like on the street journalism. She talked about like, how would that work in China?
This is a lot like Occupy Wall Street.
It's so much like Occupy Wall Street.
You've got, you were mentioning earlier that Viva Frei was on the ground.
For like 6 hours.
6 hours. He didn't.
Viva Frei.
Didn't do 21 like I did, but he's a cool guy. Yeah. Viva, we're fans. It's all right. It's no big deal. But no. But you were saying that he's going around live streaming on the ground, embedded in this moment, very similar to what happened with Occupy Wall Street. Not just with like me covering this, and people were giving him batteries.
People were like coming up to him, recognizing him, and then saying, "Oh, Viva, yeah, I need a battery pack, man," and they would give him a pack. And then he went into an office at one point and was charging his phone, but like interviewing someone while he charged his phone. I mean, it's crazy. He was like meeting, and there was like a singer-songwriter, this girl who was there, and she like played Amazing Grace just for him. And he's talking to truckers and retired people. I
saw that was a cool moment. She's with the guitar and she just sings the song. It's powerful stuff coming out of Canada. So Lily's going to talk here in a second.
Honestly, I kid you not. I was watching his live streams and then just any live stream I could of these trucker protests for like the last 3 days straight. So if you've been in my house or if you've been at the studio down in DC, literally you see me at the computer, all you hear in the background is just honk, honk, honk. And I love it. With every honk, it just gets better and better. I need to like
louder and louder. Right?
Yes, more honking.
Well,
absolutely.
So see, that's the big difference. If you are citizen journalist, you are in China on the ground reporting live stream from the COVID side, you disappear very fast. Chen Qiusi, Zhang Zhan, all those citizen journalists, they are locked up. We don't know where they are. They could be dying of some disease or something you don't know. There's a big difference. That's why it's so important for people who love freedom to appreciate what they have now. You got to fight so hard to keep it,
Well, if I could ask you, Lily, what is one thing that you think Americans need to band together and do right now to prevent our country from becoming like the one you left?
Well, that's why I'm running for U.S. Congress, right? Because I say, why I'm running? Because I fear the country I love is becoming like the country I loved. And it's getting worse and worse. Last 2 years, I could not sleep. I saw the writings on the wall, and I saw the similar tactics and features, what's going on in this country with the multicultural revolution. I survived. I just feel like it's like when you see your neighbor's house on fire, they don't know what should I do. I say it. I got to warn them, right? Hey, your house is on fire. So our country is going down that path very fast. I have to do something about it. And lots of Americans, when I go out to speak about my stories, they're all very interested in listening to me. But it's like, how come they did not listen to some stories, learn history about it before? So look into our educational system. Right?
Yeah. So are you running for the Libertarian Party, or?
I'm running as a Republican.
Oh, as a Republican.
Yes, I have run as before in Colorado. LP has no ballot access, and the Republican Party in New Hampshire is quite good. There are lots of people like me inside to make things happening. Like lots of them in State House, in State Senate, we're passing some very good laws right now, and we already passed a whole bunch last year that are now Democrats trying to reverse them. They're trying to sue our state now to forbid schools to teach discrimination.
Just so quick, in New Hampshire is no joke. You might have seen there was a lawmaker out there, and there's a movement. They were also on Tim Pool a few months ago, I think, for secession. They ain't playing in New Hampshire.
One race is more superior or inferior than others. What's wrong with that? It's in our state constitution. You cannot teach discrimination in schools. But they say, well, we cannot teach history anymore. We are so afraid of discussions of slavery, which is not true.
Yeah,
So,
So that's the clip there. I'm going to take a left turn for my takeaway from this. Here's my takeaway. Why would I say, let's celebrate people who run? This is Ian Smith. I think he was also on Tim Pool. I'm just the Tim Pool after show. Everybody I'm talking about. I believe he was on Tim Pool last year. This is he became famous, the New Jersey gym owner who defied the lockdown order. There are some people who are defying the orders. And he announced he's going to run for Congress. You might have heard this. Like, why don't good people run for Congress? I'm not endorsing him. I don't know him as well. I'm endorsing Lily because I've known her for some months now. But what I'm saying is, the point is, why wouldn't good people run for Congress? We all have skeletons in our closet. That's why. Nobody's life is perfect. Nobody was always good. Who can you go to and vet going back to 18, 19, 20? Some of the dumbest things. I'll go back to high school. My boys that I rolled with high school, still love them. Haven't talked to them in a long time. But we went to Denny's. Denny's was a hangout. And whatever, I don't know what happened. There weren't any girls there, whatever. So we left. As we're going out of Denny's, one of our dumbass crew, I mean that in a good way, one of us dumbasses, I'm a dumbass too in this crew, he says, I dare you to take the Y off the sign of Denny's. No, I mean, he said, literally, take the Y off the sign. So, of course, you're young, stupid, high school. Somebody else in the crew, it wasn't towards me. I didn't do it. I wouldn't have done it. I was a little bit more conservative on that in taking risks. But one of them ran up to the sign on Denny's, ripped the damn cover off the Y, and now we're all running back to the car. And of course, who's going into Denny's? A cop. And he's like, well, hold on. And the whole thing, I think the guy got arrested, or my boy got arrested or whatever. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I'm just saying, who can stand the vetting of Congress? Going back to, damn, they'll vet you probably before you're 18. Did you hear them talking about DeSantis's daughter the other day? Man, they don't, especially leftists. Oh, I'm gonna digress for a second. There's this guy on Twitter, from the leftist university, talking about some of the worst possible things you could do to children, as if it was a philosophical debate. That will go on Locals. So look out for that notification coming up. But who can stand that vetting? Like, I don't want those problems. I'm not running for Congress to get through those problems. What was his closet, Ian Smith? He killed somebody, unfortunately. The muscle-bound owner of the Attila's gym killed this college student, Kevin Aid, after crashing into his car in 2007. According to the press of Atlanta City's coverage, Ian Smith, the guy who's running for Congress, who accidentally killed this young man, was a 20-year-old. He ran a stop sign. And the guy was pronounced dead at the scene. Smith was charged with possession of marijuana, hypodermic needles, pled guilty to second-degree vehicular homicide, sentenced in 2008 for 5 years, 6 months in prison, 3 years of supervised release. The family, understandably, will not get in the middle of their emotions and feelings, thought that Ian Smith, who is supposedly the son of some rich person, that he didn't get a heavy enough sentence. Ian Smith addressed the conviction, said justifiably a great deal of hatred, I think it means hatred and resentment towards me. This is something I've lived with my whole life. I've never run from it, nor would I. So I'm going to end on a positive note, though. This interaction happened from Ian Smith. That's Ian Smith on Twitter, to my knowledge. That's his real account. Somebody said, sure, another unqualified person. You can say Lily. Some people would say Lily Tang Williams is unqualified. Some people would say Freddie McHale is unqualified. Robbie Starbuck is unqualified. It seems that it's a thing with the party as shown by others now in Washington. Ian Smith says, what qualifications do I require besides a willingness to serve my constituents? Word. Let me know what you think.